Hey, SAA, for this week's chapel, I am doing an interview with somebody that is pretty cool. So cool that he borrowed my surfboard this summer. And it is one Gil Fiard. And you guys might recognize him or know him by his real name, Mr. President. Because, hey, Gil, even after you graduate, at least not graduate, but after you leave office in the real world, President, you still get to be called Mr. President. You're in college right now. Where are you going to college?
So I'm going to Pacific Union College,
Very
Napa
cool.
Valley.
And what's your major there? What degrees are you pursuing?
So my major is called Emergency Management, and I'm doing that with pre-med.
So emergency management, like you even said, it's called this. Like, what in the world does emergency management mean?
Yeah, so it's a pretty specialized degree. Basically, for the first 2 years, it's all about how can you be effective at an emergency? How can you as an individual? And so we learn like rescue skills and basic medical skills. It's pretty exciting. And then the second half of your studies, you learn how can you as a part of an organization be effective at an incident. You learn some like business skills, administrative skills, leadership skills um,
Wow,
with that degree. So we'll see.
that sounds really fun. Mostly because I got to hear what you did this summer. Tell us a little bit about the fun you had this summer for work.
Yeah, the my major has definitely opened up a lot of doors for me. Um, Specifically this summer, I have a really awesome job. I'm working in Moab, Utah, as a whitewater raft guide, and so pretty much, a few times a week, I'm taking customers down the Colorado River, going through some pretty fun rapids, and it's an awesome place to live. We've got the desert. There's a lot to do, a lot of hiking, climbing, mountain biking.
All right, hey, so let's move on to college a little bit. What's the best part of PUC?
So I love the freedom that's like associated with college. When you're in college, you're pretty much on your own. You have a lot of responsibility, but with that comes the freedom to do cool things, to try new things, to make new friends, to learn new skills. And so that's been something that's really exciting for me.
All right, hey, I want to kick you back to high school. I don't know if you can think back this far. New students here at SAA, we've got quite a few new students, and they're jumping into SAA at like the weirdest time ever. So I, I don't even know how to explain this because none of us have ever done school like this before. But if you're a sophomore, like maybe a freshman, sophomore, maybe even junior, like if you're thinking back on your high school years, like maybe what's something you wish that something you know now that you wish your high school self would know?
The advice I would give to my young high school self would be to just take more risks, and don't be afraid to like step out of your comfort zone, because when you step out of that box, that's when big things happen. That's when you can, learn new things that will really help people and change so much and make you a better person.
I love that. So like, and I don't think you mean risks like running out in front of cars, right? The lawyer in me wants to say that like ahead of time, like don't drive 90 down the freeway. I don't think that's the risk Gil is talking about, but maybe like social or emotional, like spiritual risks, trying to push yourself outside of where you're going. Is that what you're kind of more talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of risks, this summer you had a crazy cool opportunity. Like, and I'll be honest, like when I saw this, I couldn't be more proud of you, Gil, and what you got to do and your ability to say yes. So we all woke up, or I remember hearing about this news that a huge like blast had gone off in Lebanon, right? And most of us before that, I'd really only known about Lebanon because that's where the cedars for Solomon's temple come from. Like that's the pastor in me. Like, but like this big blast had gone off there, and what happened like within the next few hours after that blast? Run through me like the stuff that how that changed your life a little bit.
Yeah. So as many of you know, on August 4, over 2,000 tons of ammonium nitrate combusted in Beirut, which is the capital of Lebanon. which caused just immense destruction for the entire city and for a major part of the country. And so my friend Alex and I felt a strong calling to respond. So we did.
That's cool. So like you just hopped on a plane, you land in Beirut. Like, tell me about what it was like hopping off that plane and what did it look like that morning.
We landed in the airport in Beirut at like midnight. And so we were pretty tired. So we just spent the night there. We didn't sleep that great that first day there. Once we woke up, we had found a place to stay. So we went there, I got all settled down. And then we took a walk to check out the blast site. And then later that day, we hopped on a mobile medical clinic with the local general hospital. This medical clinic is basically a bus equipped with all sorts of simple pain medicines and antibiotics,
Wow.
wound care supplies. And so we hopped on with them, drove to the blast site, and then we basically provided medical services to the people for the entire day.
Gil, you only have 2 years of college. Like, did you feel like a little bit nervous about that? Did you feel underprepared, or were you just like, dude, I got this. Like, this is no problem.
Well, I felt it was very quite reckless to travel to a different country on the other side of the world with such short notice. Because like personally, I'm pretty good about like planning things and logistics, making sure everything goes the way I want it to go. So yeah, part of it was kind of a challenge for me to just like say, okay, I'm going. In the long run, it was totally worth it, and I felt very prepared and equipped to do whatever needed to be done.
And one of those things that I'm thinking, like, and I don't know if you're going there because we haven't talked about this, but like I'm thinking this text in Isaiah. God calls Isaiah, and as a young person, and Isaiah just says, here am I, send me. And that just totally feels like, hey, okay, I got it. Somebody's asking, I'm ready to go. Let's do this, God. I'm looking forward to hearing your worship talk, as are the rest of the students. Any final words for this interview or anything?
Like I said earlier, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because that's where big things happen.